Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Book Summary Podcast. Today we're diving deep into a book that's all about,
The Psychology of Money.
you got it, we're talking about.
The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel.
That's the one. Hit that like button if you're as excited as I am to unlock the secrets.
Of your money mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
What I think is really cool about this book is that it doesn't just give you...
The usual, right?
Right. It doesn't just give you the usual financial advice, like budgets and all that. Instead, it goes deeper, like way deeper.
Yeah.
It explores the hidden emotions and like those weird psychological quirks that kind of influence
Our money decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're figuring out the why behind our money moves.
Yeah.
Instead of just the
what, yeah.
Housel really argues that personal finance,
No, like physics, right?
not at all, yeah. Like in physics.
It's like a right answer.
There's always like a right answer.
Well,
And
not like that at all.
it's not like that with personal finance. It's messy.
It's human, and
Oh, it's so human.
heavily influenced by our experiences, our biases. And
Oh, yeah. And just plain old luck.
Totally.
Speaking of luck,
Yeah.
Housel tells this story about a janitor named Ronald Reed,
Oh, yeah.
and he secretly amassed an $8 million fortune.
Wow.
Can you believe that? A janitor
That's amazing.
turned multimillionaire.
That is wild.
Make sure you're subscribed to catch all these
Amazing story.
amazing stories and like
Initial insight.
all the good financial insights.
Reed's story is just like a great example of how, like those...
Ordinary people.
Yeah, seemingly ordinary people, they can achieve like extraordinary...
Financial success.
Yeah.
It challenges everything we think about wealth and reminds us that slow,
And
steady investing, even with just
modest
amounts,
Yeah,
can lead to amazing results over time.
absolutely.
Okay, so we've got the inspiring story of Ronald Reed, but Housel also throws in like
A little cautionary tale.
to keep us all grounded.
Yeah.
And it's about Rajat Gupta,
Oh, yeah.
a former Goldman Sachs director who was already worth
$100 million.
$100 million, but risked it all for a chance at becoming.
A billionaire.
Oh, man.
Gupta's story shows us the dark side
The dangers of greed.
of ambition, yeah, and the dangers of greed. It highlights how even the most
Success.
incredibly successful people
Yeah.
can make just irrational financial decisions,
Yeah.
driven by things like envy or just the fear
The fear of missing out.
missing out. Yeah.
It's like they're already so successful.
I know, right?
They still want more.
What more? Yeah.
It's like these stories are like these,
Mini case studies.
yeah. And they highlight how emotions and psychology can lead us to make both good and terrible choices with our money.
Yeah, for sure. And Housel really argues that understanding like these underlying forces
It's so important.
is so crucial. Yeah, it's just as crucial as understanding things like compound interest
Oh, yeah.
or investment strategies.
Okay, so it's not just about the numbers.
It's not
It's about understanding
yourself.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Housel dives into all these
Fascinating.
concepts, like the role of
Sure.
luck and risk.
Yeah.
He argues that we often overestimate
Our skill
skill, and underestimate how much randomness
influences outcome.
influences financial outcomes.
Yeah.
Think about it, like two equally skilled investors
Okay.
entering the market
Yeah.
at different times.
Okay.
One might ride like a bull market
Right.
to incredible gains, while the other just gets
Hit by a recession?
hit by a recession.
Despite having knowledge and expertise.
That's the impact of
Luck.
luck. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like playing poker.
Yeah.
Even the best players can have.
A losing streak.
Yeah, if the cards
Starting in their favor.
just aren't in their favor.
Right. Recognizing the role of luck can help us make more
Realistic expectations
realistic expectations, yeah, and avoid those pitfalls
of overconfidence.
of overconfidence or despair.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging that sometimes our simple
Glad more control.
control. Yeah.
That's so hard to accept sometimes,
I know, right?
but so important.
It is.
So how do we even navigate this world
Right.
of luck and risk?
Housel suggests building what he calls a margin of safety,
Okay.
which is basically like
A financial buffer
financial buffer,
to protect us from
the unexpected.
the unexpected. Yeah.
Whether that's
Like an emergency, diversifying investments,
diversifying, yeah.
or just not overextending ourselves.
Overextending. Yep.
This buffer can prevent a small setback
Totally.
from becoming a major
Crisis?
crisis. Yeah. That's a big,
What is it like? It's like
It's like those extreme couponers
Okay, yeah.
who always have a backup plan if
If a deal falls
the
through.
deal falls through, yeah.
They're so prepared.
They're prepared for anything.
That's a great analogy. It's
Yeah.
about anticipating that things might not always go as planned.
Yeah, and having that to absorb all the
shocks.
the shocks of life.
Yeah.
Housel also dives into this interesting idea about pessimism and how it can be both alluring and dangerous
Yeah.
when it comes to money.
It's like everyone loves a good doomsday prediction, right?
I know.
Pessimism can feel kind of
Intellectually
stimulating. Yeah, it's like you're
in the know.
Yeah, you see all the risks
Right.
that others are missing.
Exactly.
But it can also be so
Paralyzing.
Yeah, it can prevent us from
Taking risks.
taking those calculated risks or just seizing opportunities.
When they arise.
Yeah, it's like being so afraid of getting lost that
Right.
you just never even
Leave the house.
leave the house.
Right.
You might avoid getting lost, but you're going to miss out on
All the adventures.
adventures.
Housel reminds us that optimism, when balanced with like a realistic assessment of risk, is
So important
essential.
for long-term success. It's about being
Hopeful.
hopeful, yet prepared. Not just blindly ignoring
Potential dangers.
a potential danger.
No.
And this all kind of ties back to the power of stories.
Narratives.
Narratives, as Housel calls them.
Yeah.
He argues that the stories we tell ourselves and the ones we hear from others,
Can impact our behavior.
can really impact our
Financial behavior.
Financial behavior. Even more so than
Facts or
we-
data.
think about the 2008 financial crisis.
Oh, yeah.
When the story of like a safe and stable
Housing market.
housing market, just completely crumbled.
Right.
It created this chain reaction of
Fear.
and panic
Yeah.
that led to a massive
Economic
downturn. And it's like the fundamentals hadn't even changed overnight, but the narrative did. And that shift in perception
had a huge impact.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's like when a rumor spreads through a school
Okay, yeah.
and suddenly everyone believes it.
Even if it started with a whisper.
Even if it started as just a whisper,
Yeah.
narratives are so powerful.
And you know they have the power to shape
Reality. And on a personal level,
Mhm.
it's so important to be aware of
the stories we're absorbing.
the stories we're absorbing about
money. Yeah.
Are they, empowering us to make
Smart choices.
smart choices, or are they fueling
Anxiety.
anxieties and leading us down like the wrong path? Yeah.
So it's like we need to be
Critical.
readers.
Yeah.
But for financial information,
Oh,
once you
yeah.
analyze the source, understand the agenda,
Yeah.
separate fact,
And
and this leads us to the more practical side of things,
saving money.
saving money.
Yeah.
Howells argues that saving isn't just about being frugal or hoarding cash.
Right.
It's about buying something much more
Valuable.
valuable, like,
Freedom.
yeah?
What kind of freedom?
Think about it, like freedom from
Financial stress.
financial stress. Yeah, freedom to
Pursue your passions.
pursue your passions, freedom to
Take risks.
take risks,
Change careers.
change careers,
Travel the world.
travel the world,
Spend more time with
loved ones,
loved ones.
retire early.
Retire early. The possibilities
Are endless.
are endless.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a pretty compelling
Case for saving.
case for saving.
I know.
It's not just about hoarding cash. It's about investing in our
Future selves.
future selves
Right.
and unlocking possibilities we can't even imagine
I know, right?
right now.
Saving gives you options
And flexibility.
and flexibility that you just wouldn't have
Otherwise.
otherwise.
Yeah, it empowers us to live life on our own.
Terms, not the terms dictated by debt or just financial
Scarcity.
Scarcity, yeah.
It's like having this secret weapon
Against life's curveballs.
against life's curveballs.
No.
You're not constantly worried about bills.
No.
You're free to focus on
What truly matters.
what truly matters.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the
Psychological.
psychological benefit.
It's a saving.
Knowing you have a financial cushion can,
Reduce anxiety.
yeah,
Improve well-being.
and it allows us to focus on
Things that truly matter.
the things that truly matter.
Yeah.
It's like this sense of
Security.
Yeah.
A solid foundation.
to build the rest of our lives on.
Exactly.
It gives us the confidence to
Take risks.
take risks
Pursue those what-if ideas.
that might have seemed too scary or
Impractical.
impractical. Yeah.
Yeah.
This brings us to
Investing.
investing, which I think can feel
Overwhelming.
overwhelming for a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
Howells emphasizes that there's no
One size fits all.
one-size-fits-all approach.
It's not about finding like that magic formula.
Yeah.
It's about understanding your
Goals.
your risk tolerance.
And your time horizon.
Time horizon, yeah.
So it's not about getting those hot stock tips or timing the market.
Not at all. Perfectly. Housel argues that like a successful investment strategy starts with
Understanding
your goals, your risk tolerance, and your time horizon.
Okay.
It's about figuring out what you're investing for.
Yeah, and how much risk you're comfortable with.
Along the way.
Along the way.
Right. It's like choosing a path in a video game.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Right.
There are multiple routes.
To the finish line.
Finish line.
And the best one for you just depends on your play style and your
preferences,
yeah.
Some people might enjoy the thrill of like high risk, high reward investments.
Okay.
While others just prefer like a slower, steadier approach.
Yeah.
There's no
right or wrong
answer.
It's about finding what aligns.
What aligns with your personality and goals.
Exactly.
So where do we even begin? I mean, there's so many investment options out there.
I know.
We've got stocks and bonds and real estate and crypto. I know. It can feel
overwhelming.
Totally overwhelming.
That's why it's so important to just,
educate yourself.
And seek out reliable sources of information.
You don't have to become an expert
overnight,
but you should understand
the basics.
Yeah, of different investment types and how they fit into your overall plan.
Exactly.
That sounds like we need to level up our
financial literacy.
Yeah. Maybe that means
reading books
like The Psychology of Money.
Yeah.
Subscribing to financial newsletters.
Yeah.
Or even talking to a
financial advisor.
The
more you learn,
the more confident you'll feel
in making decisions.
those decisions.
Yeah, and Housel has some strong advice about what not to do.
Okay.
Which is trying to time the market or chase the latest hot investment trends.
That's a recipe for disaster.
It is, even for
seasoned investors.
It's
like trying to predict
the lottery numbers.
Yeah.
You might get lucky
once in a while,
but the odds are stacked against you.
In the
long run.
Instead, he advocates for a more
disciplined approach.
Yeah, focusing on
long-term
growth, diversifying your portfolio,
and just writing out the ups and downs of the market.
Yeah.
So it's less about being a financial wizard and more about being
a patient gardener.
Right. Yeah, tending to our investments over time and just letting them grow.
That's a beautiful
way to put it.
Investing is about playing the long game. Long game. Making consistent
distributions
and trusting.
That power of compound growth.
Yeah. To work its magic over time.
Exactly.
Let's shift gears.
A bit and talk about something less
tangible.
Yeah. Our relationship with money.
Money Housel argues that our upbringing and personal experiences
play a huge role
in shaping our financial
beliefs, attitudes, and
behaviors.
Think about it. If you grew up in a family that struggled financially, you might develop like a
scarcity mindset. Yeah. Always worrying about
money,
being reluctant to spend it, even when you could
afford to. On the other hand, if you grew up in a family that was
financially
secure, you might have a more abundant mindset.
Right.
Being more comfortable with
spending,
investing. Yeah.
Even taking risks.
Taking calculated risks.
It's so interesting how our upbringing can affect us.
I know, right? Our past experiences create like a lens through which we view the world.
The world of money.
Yeah, influencing our beliefs.
Attitude,
decision-making. Yeah. And sometimes that lens can like distort our view, leading us to make decisions that aren't
in our best interest.
Yeah.
That's like those optical illusions.
Yeah.
Where the same image can look completely different.
Right.
Depending on
your perspective.
Yeah. Our financial lens shapes how we perceive
opportunities,
how we feel about spending and saving.
Yeah.
So how do we become aware of our own financial lens?
Right. And maybe even, adjust it if it's not serving us
well.
Housel encourages us to reflect on our financial values
and goals. It's about asking ourselves what we truly want to achieve
with our money.
Yeah.
What's most important to us.
And how our financial choices can support those aspirations.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really personal. It's not just about these
abstract
financial concepts. Yeah.
It's about
how we want to live our lives.
What kind of impact.
What legacy
we want to make. What legacy we want to
leave behind.
Yeah.
This reminds me of that quote by Maya Angelou.
Oh, yeah.
And she says, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel.
That's good.
And I think that applies to money, too.
Yeah.
It's not just about the numbers. It's about
feelings, experiences.
It's about using money as a tool to build a life that is
meaningful
and fulfilling for ourselves
and for the people around us.
Yeah. Before we wrap up part 1,
don't
forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more insightful book summaries like this one.
We'll be back next week with part 2,
where we'll delve
even deeper
into the psychology of money.
See you then. Welcome back to the Book Summary Podcast. We're continuing our deep dive into the psychology of money by Morgan Housel.
Last time we talked about how luck and risk play a much bigger role than we think, and how building that margin of safety can really help us weather unexpected financial storms. We also talked about how our personal narratives and beliefs about money can influence our choices, sometimes even leading us down paths
we never intended to take.
Yeah, exactly.
Like sometimes our brains are working against us with money.
I know, right?
Today, let's dig into one of the most
thought-provoking
concepts in the book.
The idea that wealth is often
invisible.
Okay, I'm intrigued by this.
Yeah.
Isn't wealth all about those fancy cars, the big house, the designer clothes, the stuff you can show off, the stuff you can see?
That's what we often associate with wealth.
Especially in a world that's obsessed with
social media
and
appearances.
Yeah.
But Housel argues that true wealth is
hidden,
yeah. It's about what you don't spend.
So it's more about savings and investments than material possessions.
Yes, exactly.
So like someone who drives a beat-up car but has like $1 million retirement account might be wealthier than someone who's flaunting a luxury lifestyle that they can barely even afford. Yeah.
Exactly. Housel defines wealth as like having financial assets that haven't yet been converted into
the flashy stuff.
Yeah, into all the flashy stuff.
Okay.
It's about having
options,
flexibility,
the freedom to make choices
without being
constrained by financial limitations.
Exactly.
So someone who's quietly saving and investing might be building a fortress of
wealth, even if it's not obvious
to the outside world.
Yeah, to the outside world.
It's like that saying,
what is
the waters run deep.
I love that.
It reminds us that true wealth isn't about
keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
It's about building a foundation for a life of
freedom and security.
This ties into another key theme that Housel emphasizes.
Okay.
The importance of saving.
Saving money.
Yeah. He argues that saving isn't just about being a
penny
pincher, yeah. It's about buying something way more valuable, like freedom. So what kind of freedom are we even talking about here?
Okay, think about it. Like freedom to pursue your passions.
Okay.
To take risks. To change careers.
Travel the world.
Spend more time with
loved ones.
Retire early. The possibilities are endless. Wow. That's a pretty compelling
case for saving.
Yeah. It's not just about hoarding cash. It's about investing in our future selves.
Your future self.
And unlocking those possibilities that we can't even imagine.
Right now.
Saving
gives you those options. And flexibility.
That we wouldn't have.
Otherwise.
It empowers us to live life.
On your own terms. You're not on the terms dictated by
debt. Financial scarcity.
It's
like we have this secret weapon.
I know, right?
Against life's curveballs.
Against all those curveballs.
We're not constantly stressed about
money.
Yeah.
And you're free to just focus on
what
truly matters.
Let's not forget the psychological
benefits
of saving.
Saving.
Knowing you have a financial cushion can
reduce anxiety,
and
improve well-being,
and free up that mental space to pursue
goals and dreams.
It's like this feeling of
security,
yeah, like a solid
foundation.
Yeah, to build the rest of our lives on.
Exactly.
It gives us the confidence to
take risks,
pursue those what-if ideas.
That might have seemed
too scary.
Too
impractical.
Okay, now let's move on to
investing. Housel emphasizes that there's
no one-size-fits-all.
No one-size-fits-all approach.
It's not about finding the
magic formula.
Or
trying to,
outsmart the market.
Yeah.
So it's not about getting those hot stock tips or timing the market perfectly.
No, not at all.
Housel says that a successful investment strategy really starts with
understanding your goals.
Understanding our goals, our risk tolerance.
And your time horizon.
It's
about figuring out what you're investing for.
Okay.
And how much risk you're comfortable taking.
Along the way.
It's like we're choosing
a path
in a video game.
Right.
Yeah, there are multiple routes to the finish line.
And the best one for us just depends on our
play style
and
preferences.
Some people might enjoy the thrill of those high-risk, high-reward investments.
Yeah.
While others just prefer
the slower, steadier
approach.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong answer.
It's about finding
what
aligns with our
personality
goals.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin?
Right.
There are so many investment options out there.
I know.
Stocks, bonds, real estate.
Crypto. Yeah.
It can feel so
overwhelming. That's why it's so important to,
educate
yourself and seek out reliable sources of
information. Yeah. You don't have to become a financial
expert
overnight.
But you should understand the basics of
the different investment types and how they fit into your
overall plan.
Yeah.
It sounds like we need to level up our
financial literacy.
Yeah. Maybe that means reading books. Like The Psychology of Money.
Yeah. Subscribing to
financial
newsletters.
Or even talking to a
financial advisor. Yeah, the more you learn,
often it will feel
in making those decisions.
Yeah. And Housel has some strong advice about what not to do.
Okay, what's that?
Which is trying to time the market.
Oh, yeah.
Or chase those latest hot investment trends.
The recipe for
disaster. Even for those seasoned
investors. Like, we're trying to predict
the lottery numbers.
Right. You might get lucky.
Once in a while.
Yeah. But the odds are really stacked.
Against us.
Against you in the long run.
Yeah.
Instead, he advocates for a more
disciplined,
patient approach.
Yeah, like focusing on
long-term growth,
diversifying your
portfolio, riding out those inevitable ups and downs in the market.
Right. So it's less about being a financial wizard and more about being like a
patient
gardener.
Tending to our investments.
Yeah.
And just letting them grow.
Right. That's a beautiful way
to put it.
Yeah.
Investing is about playing the
long game,
making consistent
contributions,
and trusting that power of compound growth to work its magic.
Over time.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about our relationship with money.
Yeah, Housel argues that our upbringing and those personal experiences played a huge role in shaping our financial beliefs, attitudes,
behaviors.
Yeah. Think about it. If you grew up in a family that constantly struggled financially, you might develop that
scarcity
mindset.
We're always worrying about
money,
yeah, and reluctant to spend it, even if you can
afford it. But on the other hand, if you grew up in a family that was really financially secure, you might have a more abundant mindset,
right?
Being more comfortable with
spending, investing,
even taking those calculated risks.
Yeah,
it's so interesting how our upbringing can
affect us.
Yeah.
Our past experiences create a lens through which we view the world of money.
Yeah, influencing our beliefs, attitudes, and
decision making.
Yeah. And sometimes that lens can distort our view,
leading us to make decisions that aren't really in our best interests.
Like
those optical illusions.
Where the same image can look completely different.
Right, depending on
depending on our perspective.
Your perspective.
Our financial lens shapes how we perceive those opportunities, how we feel about spending, saving.
Right.
So how do we become aware of our own
financial
lens?
And maybe adjust it.
Adjust it if it's not
serving us
well.
Yeah. Housel encourages us to reflect on financial values
and goals.
It's about asking ourselves what we truly want to achieve
with our money.
Yeah. What's most important to us.
And how our financial choices can support those aspirations.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really
personal. Right.
It's not just about these abstract financial concepts.
But it's about how we want to live all lives. Yeah. What kind of impact we want to make. What legacy we want to leave
behind.
This
reminds me of that quote
by
Maya Angelou.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
That's so good.
And I think that applies to
money too.
But
it's not just about a number. It's about the feelings.
Experiences we create with it.
Right.
It's about using money as a tool.
Yeah.
To build a life that's meaningful and fulfilling.
For ourselves and for the people around us.
I think that's a great place to pause for part 2.
Okay.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the final part of our deep dive into the psychology of money. We'll be back next week with more insights and practical tips from Morgan Housel.
From Brilliant
books.
See you then.
Welcome back to the Book Summary Podcast for the final part of our deep dive into the psychology of money by Morgan Housel.
If you're just joining us, be sure to check out part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Where we explored all those often hidden forces that drive our financial decisions. Yeah. We talked about everything from the power of narratives to the importance of
building a margin of safety.
Building that margin of safety, yeah.
We also talked about how our upbringing and personal experiences can shape
a relationship
with money.
Yeah.
Sometimes even creating a financial lens that distorts our view of everything.
Today we're going to tackle one of the most fascinating and maybe even counterintuitive concepts in the book.
Okay.
The idea that people are often playing different financial games.
Yeah.
Even when they seem to be operating in the same
market.
Yeah. Okay, I'm all ears.
Okay.
What do you even mean by different financial games?
Okay, think about it this way.
Even within the same stock market, investors can have completely different goals.
Okay.
Risk tolerances and time horizons. Someone who's investing for retirement decades from now is playing a completely different game than someone who's trying to make a quick profit.
In the next few
months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a day trader, glued to their screenwriting, the waves of meme stocks is playing a totally different game. Than someone who's steadily building a retirement portfolio over decades.
Exactly.
Their motivations are different. Their risk appetites.
Yeah.
Their definition of winning.
It's all different.
Also different.
Yeah.
And this can lead to situations where the actions of one group just seem totally irrational.
To the other,
yeah.
Yeah.
Housel uses the example of
the dot-com bubble.
Yeah.
Where people were pouring money into tech companies with just
crazy
valuation.
Even if those companies had
no profit.
Or clear business model.
The clear business model.
From the perspective of someone who's investing for the long-term growth.
Yeah.
Those valuations
were absurd.
They were absurd.
But for those who are just chasing that short-term momentum, those sky-high prices made sense because they thought they could sell at an even higher price.
To someone else.
Down the line.
It's like a game of musical chairs.
Yes.
Where everyone knows the music will eventually stop.
Right.
But they're all hoping to grab a seat before it does. This highlights how important it is to define your own
financial
game. Understand our goals and our risk tolerance.
And not getting swept up in
the actions
of others.
Who might be playing a totally different game.
Who might be playing by different rules.
And different
expectations. Yeah.
It's about knowing our own why.
Your own why.
And sticking to our strategy.
Even when the market gets crazy or everyone else seems to be
Making a fortune.
Making a fortune doing something else.
Doing something totally different.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the hype and the FOMO.
I know, especially when you see others like seemingly winning.
Winning big.
Winning big.
But we have to remember that comparing our financial journey
to someone else's
is like
comparing apples, oranges.
We might be playing
different games with different
objectives.
This
makes me think about like all the frenzy we see around
meme stocks,
yeah, or like cryptocurrencies,
where the price just seems completely detached
from any underlying value or fundamentals.
Yeah, those are great examples. In those situations, it's so important to
step back
from all the noise
and ask yourself,
what's driving these price movements?
Yeah.
Is it based on sound fundamentals or pure speculation?
Am I comfortable with this level of risk? Or am I just getting swayed by the fear of missing out?
Yeah.
It's like that old saying.
What is it?
If it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is.
It probably is.
Yeah. And when it comes to investing,
protecting
your downside.
Downside is just as important as maximizing our upside.
Your upside.
Housel also reminds us to be wary of what he calls
the historians as prophets fallacy.
What does that even mean?
Okay, it means like assuming that what happened in the past
will always
repeat in their
future. So just because the stock market has historically trended upwards over long periods, that doesn't mean it will continue to do so.
Forever. Relying solely on past data
can be dangerous.
To make financial decisions can be dangerous, especially in a world that's like
constantly
changing.
Yeah. It's like assuming that because the sun has risen every day for millions of years, that it will automatically rise. Tomorrow.
It probably will. But there's always a chance of some
unforeseen
event that could disrupt that
pattern. We need to be
adaptable.
Yeah. Recognize that the rules of the financial game change and adjust our strategies accordingly.
Yeah.
Housel also offers some really insightful advice on managing our
emotions when it comes to money. Which I think can be the hardest.
Our emotions can be our own worst enemy when it comes to making financial decisions. Fear can make us sell at the worst possible time.
Locking in losses,
yeah. Greed can make us chase those risky bets and just ignore the potential downside.
The downside.
And then there's
envy, which can make us compare our portfolio to
someone else's,
yeah.
Leading us to make impulsive
decisions that aren't aligned with our goals or our risk.
Tolerance.
Housel suggests developing
self-awareness,
yeah.
Recognizing
the emotional triggers.
And just having systems in place to help us make more rational decisions, even when we're feeling
emotional.
Yeah.
So instead of making a rash decision in the heat of the moment, maybe we just
take a step back.
Take a deep breath.
Sleep on it. Give yourself some time to cool down.
Yeah, assess the situation more.
Objectively. And having a financial plan. A budget, a clear investment strategy can also really help.
It's like having a roadmap for our financial journey.
Guiding you through those
emotional
storms.
Yeah. It's about having those guardrails in place.
To prevent our emotions from fearing us.
Of course.
Yeah.
Housel also emphasizes the importance of taking that long-term perspective, focusing on our goals and not getting distracted by like the short-term noise of the market.
Look, it's like being a pilot who focuses on the
horizons,
not the turbulence along the way.
Yeah.
Trust the process, knowing that the market will
go up and
down. Over time. It tends to trend
upwards.
And one final point that really stuck with me is this idea of like finding contentment.
And aligning your decisions.
Aligning our financial decisions. With our values, yeah.
Contentment in this context isn't about like settling or giving up on your dreams. It's about finding satisfaction.
In appreciating
what we have.
And making choices that are aligned with what matters to you.
To us, it's about using money as a tool to build a life that's
meaningful
and fulfilling.
Not just financially, but like
in all aspects.
All aspects.
The psychology of money isn't just a book about managing our money.
It's a book about managing your life.
It's a book about managing our lives.
That wraps up our deep dive into the psychology of money.
I hope you found this exploration
insightful,
and maybe even a little
life-changing.
Life-changing.
If you haven't already, we highly recommend
checking out the book itself.
And be sure to subscribe to the Books Summary Podcast
for more
deep
dives into the books that are shaping the way we think and live.
Thanks for listening.